I remember when I was getting into high school, right? And I remember I wanted to spend, my number one priority was the ability to be able to spend as much time with my friends as I can. That was the most important thing to me. I was going from middle school to high school, freshman year, and I wanted to know, what do I have to do to make sure that I can maximize the amount of time spent with my friends. All right. So I'm racking my brain. I'm thinking about, what can I do? Maybe I could take the same classes as them. Maybe I can, maybe we can, who's riding the bus together with me? Who has the same classes as me? Who has different electives? Who has the same gym time? I'm trying to figure out all of the ways that I can do that. And then I realized something. I said, oh, a lot of my friends play sports, and they actually play, most of my friends, it's about to be fall and they're about to play football. So, man, if I can schedule myself to play football, I will be in and amongst my friends and just be able to hang out with them so that I can be there with them. Now, here was the reality. The reality is, a lot of my friends had already been playing football for a long time. All right. So they grew up kind of playing what they call Pop Warner ball, right? So they grew up playing football. I had no I had no idea about football. This was something new I was learning. I didn't even know if I was actually that interested in it, right? But football was not going to keep me from being in and amongst my friends, I thought, right? So football, I got there. We did Hell Week, where we got to go through everything. And then if you made it past that, you can start playing and we get to practicing. And here's the thing about football. There is a lot of strength and conditioning. There's a lot of running, right? So there's a lot of practices. There are practices that happen after school that you must attend. Let me tell you something else, all right? Before the fall comes, because school kicks back off in September, end of August, September. If you know anything, that is towards the end of the summer. But during the summer, still, we're out there and we are practicing, right? The sun is out, it's hot, you're sweating, you got pads on, helmet on, you're doing all these things, you're sweating, you're running hills. We used to have to do this thing where we run hills, run up and down and up and down. And there was just a lot of different things that went wrong with football for me personally, because there was the practicing, which I got that. That was cool. I can kind of make my way through that. But then also it was you have to keep your grades up above a certain level to be able to play, right? And then if it wasn't bad enough to be able to play in the sun when it was hot, I could do that. I can tolerate that at some point. But then you had to play when it was cold. The fall came. It was raining. It's wet. It's cold outside. I had a problem. And you see, here was the problem. I wanted to hang out with my friends, but this thing of football, this reality of this sports thing right here, it was not actually for me, right? It was not actually for me, right? And I wound up very quickly, as the fall came and the weather got cold, I wound up finding something else. I found another way to be able to spend more time with my friends, whether it was through lunch, whether it was through whatever. I found another way, but that specific way was just not working for me. Now, what is the lesson that I want to kind of take out of that? I learned that, man, if we aren't careful choosing to be what others want us to be, will increase our stress, right? I was now not just worrying about football. I was worrying about how to get to practice, getting a ride home from practice. Like I said, all of the running and the conditioning. Then it was, you got to play in the hot. Then you got to play in the cold. Then you got to keep your grades up. All of those things where I'm like trying to juggle for the first time and trying to learn how to play the sport these kids have been playing years before I started playing. And it just felt so overwhelming. It just felt like so much. Like, here I am trying to do this, I'm trying to do that, I'm trying to do this, and I don't even really love this thing. I may like it just enough to hang out with my friends, but I don't like it past when things get hard, right? So what I learned was, again, if we aren't careful, choosing to be what others want us to be is going to increase our stress. You see, those of my friends that were already in that football world, they had the energy to do it because they liked it. They had been doing it for years, right? Maybe they had sharpened the skills over time to get better and better, and they were more suited for it. But the simple things for them, or the things that may have been frustrating for me, were not frustrating for them because they loved the thing way more than I loved the thing, right? So we got to be careful to the amount of stress that we bring ourselves when we're choosing to opt into what others want us to be. Now, you might get some extra friends, right? But this will actually hurt you in the long term if you don't do it the right way. So, how should we handle this instead? Well, I could have handled this and just been honest with where I was at. I could have sat there and assessed what it was and realized, like, hey, man, I'm starting freshman year, high school, trying to figure out that course load of work. I've never played football before. Maybe there are some things that I need to consider here, right? Maybe I just needed to be honest with my reality and honest with what I was able to accomplish, right? And by being honest, I should now be able to go over, by being honest, you should now be able to see who you are and choose who you are over who others want you to be.